Hello and welcome back to the Mercenary Miniature Painter YouTube channel. I'm Scott.
This is John.
And we're here with another battle on our Border Princes campaign. And once again, the roaming lunatic Johan Selbei, the Empire General, who's one of the rogue armies, has invaded the High Elf territory again. He's got a real
thirst for elf
blood.
blood.
He doesn't like them, so he's off on a rampage. And we aren't in any particular area. So for the scenario, we've just gone with our trusty old White Dwarf scenario generator.
292.
Yeah.
I remember off the top of my head. So we didn't do it as we normally do. We roll through everything because that can become a little bit tedious and we find it a bit funny. It's a bit lopsided as well sometimes, isn't it, when we do it? So today we've just done the pitch battle and we've rolled for the deployment, which we rolled this one here, where you go from nothing up to 24 inches apart on a diagonal. So as Scott said, we'll still be 24 apart a minute ago. And what our special rules are. We did have to roll them a couple of times, mate. Didn't
we kept rolling just normal rules.
Yeah.
So
we were pitch battle with normal rules. But in the end, I finally rolled a 10, which is advanced, which is basically normal kill rules. But anything you've got in your opponent's deployment zone at the end of the game, you will get their points for.
And as usual, it doesn't specify, but I take it we've been off table quarters.
Yeah. No table quarters, even though we are on pitch battle. But that is that.
Cool.
Anything more to say on tonight, mate?
No.
Feeling confident?
No.
No.
I haven't won a battle with Empire. I don't think, not just on the channel, but against John in general. I think also they might be, I think outside of that, probably my worst performing army, which is sad because they're my original 6th edition army that I've resurrected. But I think
there's always a first time for everything.
Yeah, they got to win eventually. So John's not brought the dragon tonight.
They can't lose tonight because if they do, there will be no more Empire because that'll be 3 losses for poor old Johan, and he'll be out the campaign, which I need really because there's too many enemies on top of me. So
although we were discussing earlier, it's one of the more entertaining of our non-player characters, so we don't.
I think at the end of the battle we'll have a side quest for the for the best rogue armies. At the minute, it's him and Graylord. I think
if he loses and he doesn't die, he deserves a little bit of a swan song in the aftermath. But we'll show you the armies as usual, show you the deployments, and then we'll get cracking with the game.
So tonight for the High Elves, I've got my 2,000 points. I'll start from right to left. So over on this flank, we have 5 Illyrian Reavers with a musician, with 10 archers. My lovely lady, level 2, is in with the archers. And then we have 5 Dragon Princes, full command. And we have my prince there, Rylian. He's in with them. He's not on his dragon tonight. He's on horseback. Bolt thrower number 1. Sadly, me and Scott outdone each other on the deployment. So there was no way for scouts to get anywhere. So my Shadow Warriors are in here, with the 2 eagles obviously hiding out of sight of something Scott's going to show you in a minute. 5 silver helms with nothing. 5 reavers with just a musician. 10 archers with a commander in there. Prizes for guess what weapon he's got. 5 silver helms full command with another commander on horseback. And then a bolt thrower number 2. And that is 2,000 points of the High Elves.
And facing them are my 2,000 points of Empire tonight. So I've got my first cannon over here. I've got 5 knights with a musician and champion. I've got 5 knights with full command, and they've got a level 2 wizard who's running the Law of Light, and he's got the I can't remember what the spell's called, but the one that dazzles enemy units, and he's got the magic missile, Shem's Burning Gaze. I've got another 5 knights with full command. I've got 10 handgunners. They are on the hill, but the ones that are on the front is just to stop them from falling down the hill because it's a bit slopey. I've got 5 inner circle knights with full command, and they are led by Johan Selbei himself. I've got another cannon on the hill there. I've got a captain on a Pegasus. Got a unit of huntsmen, and Johan has been. We've been joking about how he's been dabbling with the dark side, but he's been enticed into hiring a very shady looking character over here, who's a dark emissary. He's got Bolt of Dark Light, the Curse of the Dark Master, Fog of Death, and I can't remember what the other spell is, but I will surely mention it during the game. Got 5 Pistoliers back here, and 1 more cannon. So 3 cannons total.
You'll do anything to get that win, my friend, won't you? Buying all my models and using the Dark Emissary.
I was hoping for a dragon to blast out the sky, but I don't have one. So we'll just show you the deployment, and then we'll roll for the first turn, which is probably going to be quite pivotal given how much shooting we both have. So as you can see, we've gone for like a bit of a slanted deployment, which makes it a bit more interesting. Even if it is still relatively straight, it does make the difference when it comes to calculating angles and things like that. So I think it does add a little bit more.
And with the scenario, obviously, being deployment zones.
So as John mentioned, we have to get in each other's deployment zones for extra points. So that could be quite pivotal. And again, we've both got a lot of cavalry and a lot of shooting. There's not much middle ground. Neither of us have gone for any blocks of infantry. So quite similar looking armies, really, which is...
terrain scattered pretty open as well today.
It did, yeah. We did scatter the terrain. We haven't built it like this on purpose. I did risk it and put a hill in a deployment zone, but then I thankfully won the roll-off, so I did get it. But I resisted the urge to put all the cannons on it, because usually that just means that something scary will panic them all off and I'll lose them all in one go. So yeah, let's roll off. It's +1 to me.
I haven't want to roll off tonight, have I? I'm still not.
And you still haven't. And I will definitely be taking that first turn.
Good luck, sir.
Thank you very much. And we'll be back after Empire turn 1. So Empire turn 1, and I was glad to go first because it's been very impactful. Everything, I've got quite aggressive on this flank and moved up over here. Held back a little bit more, wanted to hedge my bets, and obviously held the centre here with my shooting units. But Magic Phase really shines. So I started off with good intentions and nice magic. So I did a Lure of Light spell and didn't cast it, even though it only needed a 5 to cast. So I was a little bit downtrodden. But then turns out that embracing the powers of evil does benefit you, because I got off a Fog of Death with a massive roll of an 18, or 17 with his, but then +1 because he gets +1 to cast, which basically means that every single unit in John's army takes D6 strength 3 hits, and then I have to roll to see if it goes out of control for each of my units. So on a 1 to 3, it also affects my units. So we started over here, and it was pretty good. I killed 2 Reavers, 2 Archers, 1 Dragon Prince, which was very nice. Did nothing to the Shadow Warriors, nothing to one of the Eagles, but did 2 wounds to the other. Nothing to these guys. It did kill a Reaver over here, 2 more Archers, and a Silver Helm over here. So it was very effective. It did also kill a Bolt Thrower crewman, but as you can see, that's less important now. And then he did the Bolt of Dark Light onto that unit, and although I did get 4 wounds, John saved all of them, despite it being strength 5. So didn't go all my way, but it was pretty nasty Magic Phase. And then the spell, although I think actually I got pretty lucky, it didn't really affect anything in my army other than it killed 3 of the Huntsmen. So not a bad trade-off. Shooting, though, was where everything shined. So this cannon here got a shot bang on the Bolt Thrower that was over there and blew it to splinters, doing 5 wounds to it. And then this one here did the same to the Bolt Thrower that was over there. Unfortunately for me, that did mean that this one here ended up being redundant, as its shot was also aimed at that Bolt Thrower. But I'm not going to complain, because I just wanted to make sure it was gone. And now my knights don't have to worry about being sniped off the table for most of the game, other than John's inevitable character bows that he's got. But yeah, not a bad first turn. I'm pretty happy with that one. It's probably the best first turn I've had in a game in a long while. And Empire doing what they do best, even if it was aided by the powers of evil, which John's very happy about over there, shaking his head at me.
Fucker.
You're gonna ban me from the Albion supplement at some point, but
yeah, I'm dubious about whether he can join the Empire anyway. But
they've sold out somewhat, but yeah, he is allowed to be taken by the Empire. On to High Elves turn 1.
Turn 1 for the Elves wasn't too bad. It wasn't as devastating as Scots, but it was still fairly nasty. So the only charge was the Silver Helms went into just the Empire Knights there. The rest of the moves, these come up round the corner and wield a bit. Obviously, Illyrian Reavers are there to block these guys here and mess any charges up from them. These shuffle back. The Eagles couldn't fly because of Scott's magic item, so they just moved 2 to the side. These moved up 8 to get closer to stuff. Obviously, they are movement 9, so they got a longer charge than any of Scott's stuff. These guys shuffled round and wheeled, and then those Reavers come up to there. The Wizard just jumped back in with the Shadow Warriors, which, to be honest, I should have done in the first place and hit her in the wood, because she has got Heavens. I didn't say before, she's Seer with Heavens, Fort Lightning, Urannans, and Second Sign of a Maul was her
She
spells.
doesn't even need to look at me.
No. So that was that. In the magic phase then, I started off with a Ring of Corrin. Scott tried 1 dice and stopping it. He couldn't on his Wizard, and he did have the Speculum. So I have destroyed that. So there's no Speculum on that guy now. And then she done a big Fort Lightning on 4 dice. Only rolled a 12 that was going to go on to these guys. And Scott managed to 4 dice dispel it. But that left me free reign. And I done a Fury of Cain. Not the Fury of Cain, the Bound item.
Which does Fury of Cain.
Which does Fury of Cain onto the Pistoliers. I done 3 wounds. And then with their last 2 dice, I have got the Banner of Sorcery on them, so I did have 6 power dice. With the last 2 dice, she done Second Sign of a Maul, and I got 3 rerolls, which did come in handy.
It is mental how much 1 Wizard in the High Elf army can put out.
I was so close to putting the Gem of Hoeth on Summit and just bolstering it up, because to be honest, you've got him, but I was thinking when I first seen that 1 Wizard, I was like, yes, he ain't got barely any magic to spell, because I thought you'd think, oh, he's only got 1 Wizard, he ain't going to have that much, but obviously
I went the other way.
Elves,
I thought you won't have much magic, so I'll smash you with magic.
And to be fair, I ain't got much magic to spell, so there is that side of the coin. So that was the magic. The shooting then, I split fire with these guys. Some could see the Pistoliers and some went into the Knights. Didn't do no wounds to the Knights, but I did manage to kill a Pistolier, which was good because they broke from the magic phase and now they're under 25%, so there'll be no rallies for them guys. This bloke here has got the Reaver Bow. I didn't want to kill any of his Knights because Scott quite easily pick one off there and then he'd be able to wheel round and get my archers. So I went for the Huntsman. I didn't kill any. He whiffed all his old Reaver Bow again. He's always whiffing that.
Yeah, he is.
These guys went into the cannon, and even though I only done 2 hits, they both actually went on the crew. And I did only manage to kill one, annoyingly though. And then he hit with the Seafarer Bow onto these. Didn't kill one, but luckily because of my re-rolls, I re-rolled it, and then he did kill one. So that was all me shooting. And then in the combats, just the one over here, these guys, I done 3 wounds. I done all hit on 4s, all wounded bar 1. I re-rolled that 1 and then rolled a 1. But then Scott failed 3 of his saves, so I did kill 3 blokes. Annoyingly, Scott done 2 wounds back. I failed both of them. I rolled a double 1, but with my last re-roll, I did manage to save 1. I won combat by 2, but Scott rolled a 6, so he stuck around because of the General's leadership. So that is how Elf's turn went. Could have been better, but definitely could have been worse. So over to you, my friend.
Turn 2 for Empire. Another pretty successful turn, I think. There were a couple of things that could have gone better, but overall pretty happy. So over here, I couldn't get a charge off because I was pretty sure that he was too far away. So I just moved up my 2 knight units to support each other. But the Wizard wasn't fancying it, so he moved out back here. They've changed position because there's not much they could do in the other direction at the moment. And this guy came back. I was worried that there was nothing I could do to get out of John's firing arcs, but as you'll see in a minute, that might not be too much of a problem now. And over here, these guys charged the Reavers, who were at an annoying, awkward angle, just because otherwise I'd be milling around, reforming all game with elves running around in every single direction. These guys moved back just because they are a bit of a liability to him. Oh, I'll tell you what I didn't do. I didn't see how the spell affected my units.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll do that now. Obviously, if it affects that one, that might change some things, but 2 seconds, guys. Sorry, just had to quickly wrap up a spell, as I will go into now. But yes, everything else kind of just finagled forwards. In the magic phase, I started off with a bolt of dark light on them, which I failed to cast. But then this guy redeemed himself because the fog of death crept in. I did 2 wounds,
No,
one wound, sorry,
one,
to the Reavers over here. I think I did 3, but you saved 2 of them.
Did I? Oh, yeah,
so.
I might have.
Yeah, because they got gradually chipped
Yeah.
down. These guys here, I think, lost 1.
Yeah, 1.
These lost 3. This eagle lost a wound. That eagle got destroyed.
Lost 6 wounds.
Yeah, he only had 1 wound left, so I should have done it the other way around. These were fine. The archers that were here were very much not fine. They lost 4, and they ran off the table along with their commander, which was very nice for me. These were fine. The Reavers, they saved all of the wounds that were against them, and these didn't suffer any wounds. And then on my side of the table, it hit the knights but didn't wound any, and it killed another huntsman. So it just turns out the guys standing closest to him are in trouble. Everybody else is okay. I did kill a cannon crew, didn't it? Was it this one?
No, he said he never killed him.
Oh no, sorry, you just affected him, but he coughed his way out of it. And then
I think they definitely don't like elves, that spell. It's like you've lost 3 henchmen. I've lost like half an army.
And then on to the shooting phase. The cannon here creamed the last Reaver who was coming towards me. This one here killed one of the Dragon Princes. And then this one misfired, but just couldn't fire this turn. The handgunners reformed, so they were unable to fire. These guys were too far into the woods, so they couldn't fire. And then I had a pop with my dragon bow and killed another of the Dragon Princes. And then into the combat, with only a couple of Reavers left, Johan sliced them all to bits by himself, and they chose not to overrun. And then, as John pointed out before, this has ended up being a wet noodle contest. John, how many wounds did you roll?
Only 2 hits. I have 8 attacks.
And then
1 wound.
I saved, and then I only did 2 hits out of...
And then no wounds.
But I've got a banner, so John's outnumbered doesn't get me to run away. So we're stuck in combat on a draw. Sadly, my musician's dead, otherwise that would have changed. But yeah, not a bad turn overall. John's still got some punch because he's got some nasty characters about, but it is looking pretty bad for the High Elves. Oh, the Orb of Thunder is in play still as well, so no one is flying around this turn. John has to keep throwing.
You never said you cast out in your magic phase, mate. I could be nasty and say you forgot to mention it. Especially seeing as you got a flyer, but luckily I'm a nice bloke, isn't it?
He is a nice bloke, if nothing else. And on to High Elves turn 2.
Oh, it nearly went so well, but not quite enough, I don't think. Hopefully Scott has a really bad misfire turn, and we still might be able to do something. But right, so the charges were these 3 went in to the knights over here. They opted to hold, and that was all the charges. The remaining moves, these stay where they were. These come more into the woods. Old Eagle done a shufty of 2, and these weren't march blocks, so they just went 16 straight past these guys. And that was all the movement. Magic was pretty successful, so I done a Ring of Corrin first onto him. Scott stopped it. I done the Ring of Fury from him onto the handgunners. Scott tried to stop it, but didn't roll high enough. It didn't run out, and I done 6 wounds, and they've fled. I did get a Fort Lightning off, irresistible, and then I rolled a 1 for how many hits it done, and then I didn't even wound. So I could have done with a nice 6 wounds against these, and I really felt back in it, but never mind. And then with my last 2 dice, I did roll a 9 for second sign.
Which has proved crucial.
Pretty good again. Scott couldn't stop it. Well, to be fair, I haven't proved crucial because you've ended up holding where most of them were rolled to.
This one would have gone.
Yeah, saving him was quite handy. So I did get 3 rerolls again, and then onto the shooting. These guys tried shooting the cannon again. I did wound it, and I did hit the crew, and then failed to wound. I didn't want to use a reroll on that, so I didn't bother. So that was that. That was only shooting, and then into the combats. These guys, Scott did lose one, and he broke from combat. He never killed anything back. But no, you did do a wound, and I re-rolled for saving, wasn't it?
You used the reroll for
I
that
used one re-roll there. This one here, Rylian whiffed all his. So I re-rolled the hits and failed it. And then he whiffed his wounds. So I re-rolled that, and he luckily managed to do 2 wounds. The Knight's done 1 more wound, and then Scott's champ didn't do nothing back into me. So that was how that went. And that's about it, wasn't it?
Yep, so despite being down by
luckily,
5, I managed to hold this one, whereas this one I was only down by 1 and he's run. But John rolled, what, 4 or 5 to chase me?
No, 8 I did roll. What I needed an 11 would have gotten me into the Pegasus, which would have been handy. But there you go. Never mind. Let's see what Scott can do in his turn.
Empire turn 3. The momentum's starting to peel off a bit now. So I charged this unit with my Pegasus champion, and that was about it. Magic. Got a bolt of dark light with this guy. Did he do any wounds?
No, you rolled double 1.
Oh yeah. I did, managed to cast it and then didn't wound anything with it. I did Shem's Burning Gaze over here and didn't do anything to them. And then I tried with 3 dice to crush the life out of this guy with Coils of the Serpent, but you need a 12 to cast it. I didn't get anywhere near that, so that didn't go off. And then John used his dice to stop my bounce spell. So
I stopped the Shem's Burning Gaze over there.
Yeah, that's it, sorry. And then, he's used his
last
dice.
Then I was thinking, nah, you definitely got that off. Why isn't no archers dead?
But no, the eagle is now free to move at last.
Yay!
Stuck in place for most of the game.
Eagle has landed.
Combat. Shooting. 2 cannons fired at this unit. 1 overshot. The other one, I had to be quite conservative with the way I lined up anyway, because otherwise I was going to hit my own guys. So I only killed the 1, but can't complain. And they got Pure of Heart, so they didn't panic. He killed 2 in combat. But it wasn't enough because John just about managed to wound 1 back and didn't flee. He did a wound to the Pegasus, not to the guy. And over here, my 1 beleaguered guy, only barely, even though John rolled all the hits and all the wounds, he just about died.
To my distaste as well, because I wanted that the first time round, not this time round. Never mind.
But there we go. I've still got a lot on the table. John has still got some heavy hitters on the table. So sadly, it's John's turn. So I might be losing some models this turn.
Pretty good turn for the old High Elves. They're slowly pulling it back. So the charges were these knights into that Pegasus. They were obviously in the flank, and he failed his panic check from being charged in the flank. So he has fled off over there. He did roll a mighty 18. He's a very scared pony. Obviously, the Silver Elves couldn't chase him because they lost combat, and these were nowhere near within range to catch him. So then, remaining moves, I'm glad I did stop that orb this turn because it would have left these a bit vulnerable. But now old Eagle has come here to do his funny business, as they always do. They're always very good for that. These Silver Helms, which are now free because the Pegasus have just come up from behind the hill, obviously threaten that cannon. And then these guys, just to Scott's dismay, just drop back, done the old turn, drop back and turn. So they were in the flank of those knights. Magic started off well. Ring of Corrin, Scott let go, so Pegasus lost his dragon bow.
Yep.
Ring of Fury from him because he was obviously out of combat then. Onto the Pegasus. Scott did stop that one, but it hasn't ran out. Second sign, I rolled 3 dice out because my Spanner of Sorcery gave me 3 extra this turn. So I did get 5, 5, 6, and Scott let it go. And I rolled a 3 again, and it's been pretty devastating.
Every turn, 3 rerolls, yeah.
It's been devastating, hasn't it? But then, annoyingly, I had 4 dice left, and Scott only had 3. I wanted a Fort Lightning on these. I would have just chef's kissed the turn if I'd have killed a load of these off. But sadly, she miscast, and more annoyingly, she's wounded herself now. So she's even more in trouble with the fog of death that could be coming. Right, so on into the shooting then. Knowing that Scott's wizard over here was protected by these guys, obviously he had moved back with the Seafarer bow in the flank. He hit straight away, killed the first one. The second one I missed, but with my reroll I killed him. Third one I killed him, and then the fourth one I missed. I did try another reroll, but I failed it. So he did kill 3. They passed their panic check, but more importantly, it left these guys who had just moved up free to shoot at his wizard. And I hit 5 times against him, and I wounded 3. I used my last reroll to reroll one of them again, and they did wound him 4 times. And I'm afraid you didn't pass any of your saves, did you, Scott?
Did not.
So that was a dead wizard. So pretty good. We've got the Pegasus fleeing. That cannon's going to have to take a panic check because the Pegasus outnumbers in there. I think if it may be unit strength 5, I can't remember. I'll have to check that. But hopefully, if that cannon can panic off and the Pegasus don't rally, we might be in a bit of business. But over to Scott, see what he can do.
Right, that was Empire turn 4, and where are we? So, Johan decided he didn't want to get held up forever by the Eagle, so he charged out on his own, and his unit have moved off without him. These guys just shuffled up to the edge of the wood, and the Pegasus rallied. That was about it. These guys moved back a little bit, and then Magic. I did risk another Fog of Death, and I'm glad I did. So they took a couple of wounds, but thanks to the General's leadership, they didn't panic because he did roll a 10, but he stuck around. They were fine. Unfortunately for John, his mage and the Shadow Warriors were all choking on their own blood, so they're gone now.
That one wound miscashed under herself has really cost her.
It has indeed. And that was it, wasn't it? Don't think anyone else suffered any wounds from it. Once again, another huntsman went down, and a cannon, 2 cannon crew actually. So this one can't fire in my next turn because they have to reload. So they're only able to fire on turn 6 if they make it that far. But in the shooting, look, because last time I overshot with everything, I was really conservative this time. But then this one undershot and didn't hit them. And this one undershot and didn't hit the Prince, which was a bit gutting. But this one did a devastating 10 shots with grape shot against the 2 knights that were coming up on the hill, and has completely obliterated them. So saved his own skin for a turn, which is lovely. Johan's let me down. He only did 1 wound, which was enough for a tied combat. So he hasn't killed the Eagle. But I suppose it could have been worse because he could have lost and run away and completely ruined everything. They could have panicked. Could have all gone horribly wrong. But it hasn't. We're all good. John's not in a great position, but it could be worse. So let's see what he can do with his remaining stuff in his turn 4.
Turn 4 for the High Elves. We've done about as much as we could possibly do. So the charges were the Prince's unit could see the Pegasus, so they charged into him, and then this guy charged out of his unit and charged the cannon. Scott went, they charged 16. I went, not when he's on his own, my friend, because he was charging out the unit. So he was an 18. Scott, I thought it was going to be tight, but I thought he was out, but Scott was right to flee because he was just in. Obviously, they were comfortably in. The Pegasus held, and then these guys just moved up, and then this lone silver helm come up to here to obviously try and threaten the cannon. Then in the shooting phase, the magic was I just got my 2 banged items, and annoyingly his has ran out now. So it was just the one. Scott stopped both anyway, and then his ran out. In the shooting phase, he shot at the knight, so I did manage to wound one, but Scott made a save. And then in the combats, I killed the Pegasus, and my Prince managed to wound your captain.
Yes,
but
indeed.
That was that. He did break. He was down by 5. He didn't do nothing back. And annoyingly, I didn't get enough range on my knights to catch the bloody push the crew off the table, which is pretty annoying, but never mind. Worse things have happened at sea. But I think Scott, well, he's only got 1 cannon online because that one can't shoot. So if we get a bit of a misfire here and some dodgy magic, maybe, just maybe. But we'll see. On to the Empire, turn 5.
Empire turn 5. Mostly gone well, other than a little bit of a flub at the end. So couldn't really do much. So these guys have just gone. Remember, the objective is to take the end zone, so they're going to claim that. These guys rallied nicely enough, and annoyingly for John, these guys moved up to threaten the archers. And then in the magic phase, I tried to bolt the commander, and then that didn't work. So instead, I crushed him to death with an imaginary snake, and he's now dead.
So it is a snake that does it, is it?
This is coils of death, so I imagine it's a snake. But unluckily, I've left that knight alive, as I only got 4 shots with the grape shot this time, and didn't kill him. Only did 1 wound, and 2 wounds, but he did save them both. And then the archers did a wound, and John saved that as well. So he is in a threatening position, and these guys unfortunately aren't around to do anything about it. So it's John's turn 5. He's still got 2 turns to try and wreak some vengeance on me.
Short and sweet turn 5 for the High Elves. With my remaining silver helmet has managed to survive the fight. He obviously charged the cannon crew. And then those lot over there obviously wanted to polish off that cannon. So they charged that one over there. That was all the charges. The archers just wheeled past as much as they could and moved up there of these knights. And with no magic, or they weren't in arc of any shooting, that was all we could do. And then in the combat, obviously my prince butchered the crew over there. And then this one, I only managed to kill 1. And Scott did nothing back. So I had 1 kill with a banner, and Scott had the hill and outnumbered me. So it was a tie combat. So that was how all of that went. And it is the Empire turn 6. With not a massive amount to do, but
no.
Let's see what they can do.
Right, I didn't have too many options in my last turn, but it's not gone too badly despite that. So I didn't have any charges I could do because these cowardly archers moved out of my charge arc. They've moved up hoping that they get in John. Remember, it was a weird deployment zone, so there's a slight chance they might have done it.
It is on an angle though, so I think
they've done it for sure. These guys moved up, and the handgunner shuffled over ever so slightly. Magic didn't. Well, actually, no. I didn't really have much I could do, to be honest. But the one spell that I could cast, I rolled a massive, I don't know, something stupid like 22 to cast Curse of the Dark Master on this guy, which would have meant he was -1 to hit. But then John double sixed it and was feeling pretty good.
Until he actually had
to roll the combat, and then he rolled double ones anyway. So he's run away. My War Machine crew couldn't pursue, so he's off. And the 4 huntsmen pinged some shots off and killed an archer, but they've passed their panic test. So John's last turn. We might as well do it on camera because it's just a rally and some shots with them because they can't
rally to under 25.
Oh, in
that can't do nothing. You sure? You got
he's got a bow. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, bring him back on.
Your Dark Emissary's not got anywhere to hide either. Oh, look at his face! It's gone a bit quiet now.
He's got a ward save at least. It's not the end of the world.
Let's come on to there. These guys. March blocking me. Dead. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they will just for the angle's sake, we'll 1 and they'll move up 9. That's bound to be in deployment because the cannon's still there. Oh, if that silver helm wouldn't have gone, I would actually feel maybe something could happen. Right, magic. I suppose his ward saves a built-in one. It's not. I can't bring a coronet, can I?
No, it's just him.
He's bound to be 30 away, so there's no point in doing them. Yeah, we might as well ping your Dark Emissary, mate.
What, are you going to be -3?
Moved. Yeah, probably. Oh, it doesn't matter.
Here.
That's that game summed up in a nutshell.
Would my ward save have gone off?
Yeah,
I would have. I'd have been okay anyway.
That's about right for the that. Right, mate.
Yeah, right. Let's add up the scores and see how that one's gone. But I think I've got it in the bag a little bit there. Right then, how have we fared?
Oh, that was a very tight one again, and it was very crucial.
You had me going with that last bolt thrower shot.
Yeah, I know, your face dropping on that. Obviously, that bolt thrower shot could have saved me, but the more important one was the silver helm break-in, because he was in your deployment zone, and obviously half of his unit, obviously he was under 25%, so we couldn't rally. That would have scraped me a draw if he'd have rallied, and obviously if I'd have killed the Dark Emissary, same principle, would have scraped me a draw. But you got 411 for your bonus points.
Yeah,
I got 541. That's all banners and everything else where we counted into it. So very good game, sir.
Thank you.
Yours or my Empire's finally got a win for you.
Yeah. I've won with the Empire, at least I can say.
And the most pivotal character, of it was probably shouldn't really be in an Empire roster either.
Yeah, the evil. This Johan's got a lot to answer for, I think, when this campaign's over. Like,
he was particularly nasty, that Dark Emissary, wasn't he?
I'm not sure he's going to have to go back to the Empire to find out what he's been doing down here.
No, I said all along he's had the taint of chaos about him the whole time he's been in there. I think
that
Griffin he rides starting to look more like a greater demon every time he brings it out.
He's just using the forces of chaos, he's turning it in. He's justified it in his head to win himself some greater glory. But yeah, the fog spell was pretty big early on. It was mainly getting rid of all your reavers and everything and stopping you from running circles.
The reavers, the shadow warriors, obviously left my wizard out, the archers. Everything like that was pretty nasty. I think it was that caused the archers to panic and run off from that.
It was, yeah.
Which obviously had my commander in as well.
That did make a big deal. And then
the cannons turn one.
Yeah, I had a really nice. Well, not only that, but then as we did mention, I only rolled one misfire throughout the game, and it was the least damaging misfire result it could have been. They did whiff a bit towards the end, but I mean, they'd already done what they needed to do. I mainly brought them because I was expecting John to try and devastate me with his dragon again. And I thought if he doesn't, he's usually running 2 chariots. It's the first time he's not brought them, probably because he suspected my cannons were going to be out in force. But yeah, it was a good game. I always
that orb done well for you again, a sort of niche item because it stopped my eagles being able to threaten your bolt throwers, your
just keeping them back. Yeah, because normally I always know it's like you've got 2 reavers, 2 eagles. It's so easy just to wrap up or wipe out the cannons in turn 2, and then it's not much I can do then, and that's a big chunk of my firepower. Similarly, that's the same as getting rid of your bolt throwers. It's just I knew then you'd have to come to me. You can't sort of faff around just chipping away shots at my knights.
That miscast on my wizard was pretty pivotal as well. That was her wounding herself because obviously then the fog of death killed her the next time round.
Right otherwise.
Yeah, and she'd have probably got another magic phase, which could have possibly done something for me. But all ifs and buts, it was. From like I said, from that first turn, I was thinking, "Oh no!" And the second turn was pretty bad as well. I think the second one wiped me out. But it was a really fun game. I really enjoyed that one.
Yes, it was. I think first 2 turns to me were nasty. Your third and fourth really pulled things back, and then 5 and 6 was just the thing of we've petered out. We've got both shattered and got
until you forgot the Seafarer bow on our last turn. And then your emissary nearly had it. I got a blooming one again, but never mind.
But yeah, I enjoyed that one, and that's made the campaign interesting because whilst the High Elves are advancing, all of their rear now is on fire because of the mental Bretonians and Empire just burning down all of their settlements.
I think Rylian's going to have to try and regroup and come back and try and start wiping a few out of them again. He's going to have to get away.
Rid of one of these rogue armies. Also, something needs to change to get them to actually fight the Dark Elves because at the moment they all seem to
keep running away from me.
Well, from you, but I mean the actual rogue armies.
Oh, the rogue armies, that'd be nice.
They've not even acknowledged the Dark Elves are there, so they do not care that the Dark Elves have come to enslave them all. They're just really angry that there's elves in general around them, so they've mostly focused on that.
I think there's been some Druchii foul play here with the rogue armies anyway. Everyone seems to be tainted with a bit of chaos or something, and my poor High Elves are just getting the brunt of it. Ragnar, the dwarf, had a bit of a mad look in his eye in a few of those battles. I think my only helps are the lizard men, and they just keep hiding out everywhere. So, but no,
we'll do the map, so you'll get the map update as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed. This has been Scott and John from the Mercenary Miniature Painter YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. But otherwise, goodbye.